Okay, in this Kendo talk, I would like to welcome Kazuyo Matsuda sensei from UK, 7th Dan. So please welcome Kazuyo sensei. よろしくお願いします。Hello, sensei. So the reason I invited you is to we would like to know about your Fine Ladies Kendo Worldwide magazine.
Thank you very much.
And also, a lot of people should know about you. So if you can introduce yourself a little bit,
I
would be grateful.
Please. Yeah, okay. I'm Kazuyo Matsuda from Japan, but I lived in the UK for quite a bit since 1993, so some 20 odd years. And I've been practicing Kendo for some 40 years. And I am part of Kodokan Kendo UK. It's a Kendo club that runs for over now 50 years or something like that. And I'm club leader there. And yes, we've recently started this magazine for female Kendo to promote female Kendo, also to try and bridge women's Kenshi in Japan and the rest of the world, of course UK, Europe and America and everywhere. So that's starting mid this month. The first issue will come out on the 15th of February online and printed magazine as hard copy magazine. So if you're interested, please visit us.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this is about female Kendo. Now, we all know there's no such category as men's Kendo and female Kendo, but of course, you have certain kind of purpose of this magazine. And the first of all, a lot of people, especially ladies, wants to know. Well, of course, I want to know about what's the difference between male Kendo and female Kendo, if there are any differences.
For me, there's no difference between male Kendo, female Kendo, if such things exist. So there's Kendo as in broader sense. There's one Kendo that may have been influenced over different parts of the history, but in terms of the gender, there shouldn't be any difference between male and female Kendo as a sport, as an activity people practice. But there may be different approach to Kendo if you're male or if you're female, if you're younger. And that can be seen in their physical structure and the way they think. So that's how I see it. There's no difference between, but then how we do it may be influenced by how body structure is different, because that is quite a significant physical difference in the balance and the muscular structure, what we are good at, what we are not so good at. So that's the difference for as far as I'm concerned.
Right. So there's like, it's not female or male Kendo, but it is about it's same as among men. Some people are taller, some people are shorter, some people are big, skinny. So these things are different. And also, but in Kendo, we train, we don't, maybe in Japan we separated. In my high school, and the junior high school too, we trained differently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did differently. But here we train all together. And I think some ladies feel like, oh, like overpowered by male. So I think main questions I received from this lady from I think she's Philippines. She's from Philippines, and how can she go against these, let's say, male or person who has more strength than her, more speed than her?
I see. So, yeah, I wasn't too sure if the question comes from woman or man. So,
Yeah, it's from female.
I thought when I saw the question, I thought she wanted to know if the power and speed is lacking in someone,
Right.
as a sport, what else can be used instead?
Right.
I thought that's a good question, but in that situation, so we're talking about one female in a group of men. I grew up in an environment where there's always mixed education, mixed practice in Kendo. So my junior high school in Japan, I always practiced in a group of mixed gender, and exactly the same amount of practice, same intensity, everything the same. So I had not had any idea that female needs to be doing this while male does more or longer. I didn't come from that background, so it is for me something very odd idea to have a separate group. If there's a chance to practice together in the same space, I think we should all practice together because that's interesting and that is achievable. And I think we study more. I'm giving another example of the junior practice because we have a junior section of the dojo. Because the number is low, we are not in a city, so we're in the countryside. So the group is like 10 to 20. We had maximum 20 kids from 7 to 17. So imagine the difference in the physique and also mentality. 7 years old is quite small child. 17 is quite an adult. In the UK standard, the children can be taller than me. So they practice together, and in a way they learn more because they know by natural common sense that they grow up and then in the environment that obviously small children are smaller than you, and then you start to control the strengths that they hit. Sometimes it's not fair for them, so we just separate them for a certain amount of kakarigeko, for example. But within control, they can all do kirikaish and fundamental practice together. And so in a similar way, I think we should all practice together, male and female together, small or big, because that's what the Kendo is about. And that's the very interesting part of the culture. Now then to advise this lady to go against more powerful and faster opponents, I think she needs to think wiser, to try and plan, also to try and test and try and have more experience against these people, and she needs to work on her own to try and find a way what works, what doesn't work, because Kendo is a sport where those elements, power and speed, is not necessarily the stronger Kenshi. So that said, I think she needs to go out and find out what works for her.
Right.
finding out herself is the best thing to do.
Yeah, so I quite disagree. It doesn't really matter male or female, big or small. Uh, a lot of people here, if they do kendo, we all know seventh dan is a real deal. And I personally, I failed once, seventh dan. So, and I'm, and then I can't try anymore because of the pandemic. And it's a real deal. It's not about speed and then power. It's about when to strike, how to strike. And after all, smaller people beat bigger people. And of course, if we say female and male, female beat male easily. And like I fought against female ones. Well, a lot of times. But the pressure I she was putting on me was like, oh no, I cannot strike her. If I go for her man, I'm sure she's gonna get me. And that kind of pressure, you can feel the pressure from anyone. It doesn't matter who. So I think kendo is really, it's like it doesn't matter who you are, what you do. If you do it right, it works.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't know why
Yeah,
you agree with me, but I agree with you on that part. Yes, sure.
yeah. I think like physically, yes, we are like different. I mean, a lot of people lower shorter than me, skinnier than me, they beat me. So it's no argument there. So it's not about speed, no, it's about strength. So it's not about gender. So I quite agree with it. So I think she likes the answer. Experience.
I hope so.
Think what works, what doesn't. All right. So that's kind of related question to that. Men's division and women's divisions in tournament. Like we talked about, there's no such things, man and woman kendo, and also we know female can beat anyone can beat, regardless of their body size. But what do you think about these divisions? Man and woman, do they have to be separated in tournament?
I think when you look at the history, um, just say pre-war and post-war. Pre-war, there were very, very, very few female practice kendo, and they were categorically, physically very, very able people because only then they could survive, and they probably were attracted to start kendo in the first place because they were able. But post-war, female kendo started as being more like fitness purposes, and so competitions were introduced. The kendo itself were introduced to education. So boys and girls, here's a kendo for you, and there are set rules, and that's how the competition rules and the standards are still today. It's from that date. So it is sportive elements, and why not separate categories if they're enough female? But there's still elements that are most certainly interesting, as we discussed earlier, that men and female mixed matches are interesting as one category, and separate divisions. That's another interesting thing. You would have experience in fighting male or fighting female, a little bit different feeling because of the energy is different, their way of approach is different, and what works, what wouldn't. are all completely different. So I personally would like to have both, and not only division separated. Sometimes mixed fights are interesting, as long as there's a health and safety set, so there's no dangerous fighting.
Right, right. 'Cause, I don't know in Japan anymore, but like example of our federation, regional federation, we don't have many people anyway. So we fight like okay, we have divisions for dans, second dan above, a third dan above. So we fight mix, and
Mm-hmm.
of course we have female male division as well. But because of the limitation, we don't have the Kendo population. So we just get together. Okay, sun dan above, all men and female together. So I think, and then of course, you know, female beat male. So in that situation, we can enjoy, and then also team fight as well. We mix team fight because of the population. So I think it's really interesting to see how we can fight together, female male. So I think I don't know about Japan. Do they do that? I don't know. I don't know anymore.
School kendo is different. Schools still very different divisions. So
Right,
clearly, men's individual, men's teams, and girls individual teams, they're completely separate. Although some
right,
schools practice together, but the competitions are
different.
clearly divided. But when you become adults and like work team competitions, I think they mix them sometimes, or like local kendo federations, they hold some things like family taikai.
Right.
They can mix mother, fathers figures, maybe mix. But in Japan, the mainstream is that male, female,
Yeah, divisions. Right.
because there's so many of them. They can do.
Yeah. So many. Yes. Probably they don't have to divide, but I think there's a lot of reasons other than male, female. But that would have been fun. Probably I should stick to the questions. Do you think you had kid?
In Japan, also up to primarily school students, they fight mixed competitions.
What are you?
Oh, it's it's like up until you're 13, 14, girls' physical abilities often higher than boys because the how they,
Right.
and so mix of the matches were in that category
Yeah.
kind of works. But of course, depends on the individual. There are some differences how fast they grow, but
Right.
grow means physically and mentally.
Right.
Muscular develops faster for girls than boys, and then after that, yes, change happens.
Right. That reminds me
Mm.
of the thing that when I was uh, elementary school student, we didn't have any girls at the dojo, my
Oh, really?
dojo. None, zero.
Oh,
So, but we have Naginata at the same dojo. So all the girls go to Naginata.
same age?
What?
Are you sure we're the same age?
Yes, yeah.
You're coming from a different era.
I know. I don't know why though. We had no girls at the dojo. The kendo.
Okay.
Kendo, no girls. No boys at Naginata back then.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's probably why. I don't know. Maybe we're from. I am from very traditional.
Yeah. South.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah,
That,
yeah.
that
Probably that's why I think. Yeah, that's and then nowadays when I go back to Japan, I go to the my own dojo in Japan, not own dojo, my dojo. They have some girls there too,
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't feel weird. But and then now I realize, yeah, that's the difference. We didn't have any girls back then. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's okay.
Mm.
Yeah, at my dojo anyway. The different dojos, yeah, they did have girls, but we didn't have any. Probably, I don't know why. I don't want to go there. But yeah, we didn't have any girls.
Mm.
That's interesting. So I wanted to ask you something you were talking, but let's move on. So uh, this is rather personal.
Okay.
What has kept you going in Kendo for all of your years of practice? It should be question mark at the end.
Okay. Quite simply, I am quite a simple person. At the end of the day, I like Kendo. That's why.
Simple, isn't it?
Yeah. If you
So
don't like it, you wouldn't. And that comes with at the end of the day because I did have some um, time that I thought that I wouldn't continue. Only a couple times, but I did, and some people helped me. And also, I looked at Kendo from a different perspective, from those experiences. And so, at the end of the day, I continued, and it was the right decision. It was the right thing to do.
right, right. Otherwise, you can't keep practicing Kendo for over 40 years.
Mm. I think there is a threshold when you cross that line. There's no way that I'm gonna stop,
Right,
as long as my body can and able to continue.
right. What's the aim now? Now you're seventh dan, and you're still
Mm-hmm.
renshi, and then you're gonna get kyoshi,
Possibly.
and well, I'm sure you will get kyoshi. And eighth dan is next.
Yeah, in theory.
And at the moment, we have no female it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And eighth dan itself is very difficult. And I know a few senseis, female senseis that challenge. We have documentary back, I don't know when, but we have documentary of female sensei going for eighth dan.
NHK is two
So
years.
I think it's NHK, yeah. And I hope there will be female eighth dan as well. But what is your how do you what is the goal of your Kendo practice now? Are you thinking about going for eighth dan, or you're working on something else as seventh dan?
I work on something all the time, and um, technically, I'm working on a few things. Also, mentally, I still working on something else.
Yeah,
There's no end. I mean, in terms of the gradings, for me, grading is only very small part of my Kendo.
right,
And as you said, um, I've got seventh done now. I got Kyoshi to do, but that's only a number. And and Kendo offers me a lot more than just numbers and certificates. So um, I want to keep on working on a few things. And also, I want to return something that I was given to other people. And this magazine is part of this project
right,
because I wanted to do it for a long time, not as a magazine, but I wanted to do something as a tangible something, rather than just teach at the dojo at regular practice. That's something that is kind of invisible but important part.
Right.
Each session, we can't practice at the dojo at the moment, but we carry on with the Zoom session. I don't want to just do it for the sake of it. I want to make improvements for myself, also for others. So there's always the improvement that I want to make in continuing my kendo.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
my goal and the reasons for continuing.
Right. Yeah. You get it's just the numbers, but it's bloody hard numbers to gain.
Yes. Yes.
But you got the number 7, so that's great. Yeah. So, like what you said, now your time to uh, give back to the Kendo community because we have uh, been given so much from the senseis and out from other people. It's quite so. This magazine is a part of it, and I've skipped this magazine's mission, but it's to connect Kendo women Kenshi of all levels worldwide to provide information about women's Kendo past and present for the growing number of women Kenshi all over the world. Particularly, this is a mission, but particularly, what do you want to tell women Kenshi in the world? What is the main message for you? I know you wanted to do this for a long time, but what's the core message to the woman Kenshi in the world?
The actual thing that I wanted to do for many years is to interview Setsuko Kobayashi sensei, who's the pioneer female kendo, who is still alive. There's another person, but she's no longer. So since I had an opportunity to meet her, I've been taught by her, Kobayashi sensei wanted to interview her because she lives in Tokyo. She kindly came over to the UK when she was 74.
Oh, nice.
First time, and that was her first time to go outside of Japan. She said go outside of Tokyo was the first time, but it was because she's been to Kyoto, I know, Kyoto Taikai
Right.
times. But so she has a lot to teach us. She has a lot to tell us that, up until today, no one has actually done an interview. There's only Ozawa Hiroshi sensei who wrote a book on female kendo, who spoke to her. He kind of interviewed her to write about her. But as a female kenshi, I wanted to interview her and make a record of this, for me too, but for other people too, to share. And this was something that I had to do to start with. And then this magazine idea came out of that.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't the magazine that I wanted to do at first. It was the interview to try and visit the beginning of the female kendo. It was just simply that, so that because I'm not the person, I'm just a messenger. So I can record something that is going to be important for us for the future, because if I don't do that now, it will be lost. And that's what I wanted to do, to have a record. And not only Kobayashi sensei, but there are a few others who follows her in Japan and outside Japan. And I wanted to record them all, record everybody, what they have to say. And that, as a messenger, I can do that. Maybe that's the message to female kenshi in the world.
Right.
Is here's something for you. If you're stuck, read this, learn from them, and that's how I think I can help them. Because there are lots of female kenshi who are isolated, and maybe they are alone in the club. But if they have somewhere to go, what they could achieve, what they can do, and that could be a help. That's the idea.
Right, right. I quite agree with the us being a messenger. So I myself started this because of that. Because my senses were good, great, big names. I'm not. So okay, I learned something from them. So what if I keep it in me and I die with it dies with me. So we have these media now like YouTube or internet or whatever, so we can just deliver those to the world. I think it's a great idea.
Right idea.
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, I just remembered I wanted to ask you. Do you feel like female kendo, not female, I don't want to say that. Kendo in female and has been changed, the style, any changes? And I feel like kendo has changed in the past few decades a lot. Uh, it got faster. Uh, the style has been changed a lot in all Japan Kendo championships, especially. That's personally I feel it has been really changed. Do you feel the same in the female Kendo style wise? Do you see any changes in style?
The difficulty for me is that I don't have lots of opportunities to look at the mainstream female kendo in real. Yeah, the YouTube around and we can watch them on the screen, but it's not the same if you see them in the same space. So it's difficult for me to say that. But when I visit Japan and practice with the people I practice with, including my senpai and teachers, colleague, like former colleague, students, children, I think it hasn't changed much in the sense that how we do it, how we practice, and how we kind of interact in the practice. But if I look at All Japan championships, um, the last time I remember being excited about watching, even on television, was in 80s,
80s,
late 80s.
late 80s.
I was a big fan of Miyazaki sensei, and because I'm from Kanagawa too.
Right, right, right,
And
right, right.
the brothers were the real heroes, and the matches were really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of changed. I would agree with that. But looking at the TV and screen in real life, in practice, in the actual practice, I don't see much difference. But maybe the university kind of changed, and I could only see that when I practice with the university students come from Japan, who comes to
Okay.
meet them outside Japan, or I see them in Japan as in a group practice or dojo situation, and it's difficult for me to say because I lived in Japan 20 years ago, 20 odd years ago, and since then, the practice I can do in Japan is when I go there.
Right.
I choose to visit selected dojos or schools. So that would be quite selective choice of experience. So yeah, it's difficult for me to say.
Right. So yeah, I just wondered because I saw I didn't I don't know. Like I said, I come from very traditional man's world Kendo environment. So I'm not too. I was when I compare. Yeah, it's like pre Miyazaki Sensei era,
Mm,
post Miyazaki Sensei era. It's a whole different Kendo style.
yeah,
I quite agree with it. I think it's that is the point. It's pre Miyazaki, post Miyazaki Kendo era. I think. So if I compare those, it's pretty. Man's Kendo has been changed quite a bit. So I just wondered if you see that in female Kendo as well. I think
I don't personally think so.
no.
No, maybe in the university, Kendo,
Right.
but the people I practice with in Japan, along the line with Setsuko Sensei, Kobayashi Setsuko Sensei. So I don't think they changed much, even in the way that they practice and the styles.
Right. Right. I think it's like dojo. My dojo. Uh, they how they practice has been changed too. It's
Mm,
not totally different from what I used to do, and what they do now is totally different. So probably with my background like that, it's kind of feel like things are very change. It's changing really quickly.
I think the possibility is the scientific findings of things like the hypothermia being dangerous. So
Right.
children and students need to hydrate themselves between practice.
Right.
Like that has changed. That is a big yes. I noticed that some 10, 15 years ago when I visited my former high school teacher teaching his students in a very, very different way. And I complained.
From don't drink water, it's got keep drinking water. You haven't drank water, go and get some drink.
Different, yes.
Yeah, it's very different. True,
That's
true.
just following the social needs and demands and the government's guidelines and health and safety, basically.
Right, right.
I
This
think
is very different.
otherwise
That's
things can be very
yeah. True. Very true. Yeah. No one hits anyone with bokdo, so that's good. Okay, so this is the last question from the people I know. What do you enjoy most about practicing Kendo?
I like the most in meeting new people
Right.
like yourself and also nurturing friendships for a long time with people I know for a long time.
Right.
And that's something very special about Kendo because I think I've done it for so long and I met nice people through Kendo. Sometimes not so nice people at the beginning, but then I noticed that they're actually nice people.
Yeah.
That kind of discovery is really always nice, and
Right.
I enjoy the most in Kendo. And
Yeah.
actually, to them in Kendo, physically engage and to communicate and hit and being hit, that kind of exchange is actually really, really nice. And I enjoy together with actually talking, exchanging with words or without words. That's the bit I really like to communicate with people
And after training, go to a pub.
as well. We used to do that, not anymore.
Right. After everything is over,
Yes,
we
at the
could
moment,
do it again.
hopefully it'll come back.
Right, right. Yes. So like this is a great thing about Kindle. Like you know, we you said that we all get together and then train together. Doesn't matter male or female. It's Jigeko. We do mixed training, so we can exchange ourselves through Kendo. So that's, I think it's a great part of Kendo. I don't think judo and I don't think they train together, do they? I don't think.
Some small clubs train together.
Probably some, yeah. But basically, I don't know. That's a good. Maybe karate they train together, male, female. Maybe outside Japan they do. Maybe I don't know. I've never visited any other martial arts clubs. That's interesting to know. But in Kendo, we don't really physically hit each other or throw each other, and we use shinai. So I think it makes it possible for us to train together as well. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And small, big, all kinds of different types of people. We don't have weight categories either. So that's nice about Kendo. I think we can train all together, from young, from old to old. I think that's very nice. So this Kendo, no, hang on, female, no, fine ladies Kendo world. It will be published soon, this month, I think.
Yeah.
Do we know exact date?
Yeah, 15th of February.
Oh, that's next week. Next week? 15th. Today's in 9 days. That's good. That's good. So it's available in as physical products magazine and also digital
format. And we also have a website that has 3 articles and information about events. And we also have videos. So we interviewed 3 so-called pioneers of female kendo, and we edited it, and you can watch on videos.
On YouTube?
No, it's you need to become a member to watch it.
I see.
And so it's not completely open at the moment. So you need to kind of register yourself, and so we know who you are, and then you can watch it.
Is it only ladies? Can we boys?
Yeah, there's some
get in.
Interested male registered members. They can be teaching ladies in their club, or they're some people are interested because of that aspect. They want to know what females Kendo is about from the female's perspective. They're registered. You can register.
That's good, because as common question is, that I can't answer those questions like, like, oh, I have big breast and what can I do? I don't know. You go, oh, I cannot answer that questions. I have to get back to you later, because and I didn't have anyone to ask, so I have to ask my friend in Japan. So from high school, we had female captain and male captain.
Yeah.
So I had to ask her about those questions. So I couldn't answer those questions. So that is very great. And then also, if you have any suggestions that, like, I'm an instructor, so how is there any points that I have to pay attention when I instruct female students?
it's difficult. Hiro-sensei, you
It
must
is.
experience. So I think most of the things you know the answers. But if female specific, maybe try to understand them from their perspective. It's sometimes difficult because the physics different, the
Right.
way they think may be different. Maybe they care more in the area that you might think is impossible. That's the kind of thing. For the beginners, I have seen quite a lot of female when they first wear armor, especially in
Right.
being hit hard. That's a very common problem they have and challenge to overcome that. Do you have that too?
Where did they get hit? When they get hit, where?
On the
Kote?
wrist? Yeah,
Oh.
often.
A lot of it males too. They go. "Oh," they complain. Apparently, I hit too hard. They go, hmm? Do I hit too hard? It's called very sharp. But yeah, they do. They do have. I actually they think they are well protected
Mm,
by bogu, by armor, and they are well protected. But it doesn't mean it doesn't give you any impact. It will give you impact, and the
mm.
impact can be painful. So I don't think they didn't understand that part. Yeah, they didn't even think about getting hit when they start Kendo because we don't teach them how
How to being hit?
how being hit. We teach them how to strike,
Yeah.
and they're so excited. Okay, I can strike, and they don't think about getting hit, and then they go, oh, they quit.
Yeah, some people react in different ways, but some girls can be more sensitive. But it
Yeah,
doesn't mean that, Kendo is not a dance, so
right. It's
it's
full
not just,
contact.
yeah, it's a contact sport and it's a martial
Right.
art. So expect some pain
Yeah,
and some, unexpected injuries, but that aspect might put off some ladies, perhaps. But not all the ladies are like that. And for that, we have a section for armor, um, female bogu section in the magazine, and I think that's going to reveal some interesting stories and facts. And
maybe I should register.
yeah, very important for female to have a good, suitable equipment for them. And that's something that no one has actually ever kind of dug deep about um, the truth and
Right, right.
misunderstandings.
I
There,
didn't even think about that.
yeah, it's interesting. I'm talking to a female a person who has been working in the burger shop for a long time, and she's also experienced kind of person. And I'm learning too. Talking to her is an eye opening sometimes. And so
Right,
the first series is going out this month, and then we're going to continue talking to her because there's a lot to cover.
right. That's very important. Like, Bogu is the most important
Mm,
part of Japan, part of Kendo, because, like we said, we constantly hit each other, and we have to protect our body. Yeah, that's very important. So that kind of question of
mm.
female Bogu, there's some. I don't know. I
That's okay.
don't know.
Yeah, it's natural. And
Yeah,
female, even female between female, we don't discuss about it enough. So questions are kind of scattered around and not gathered, collected, dealt with, analyzed. So we have a lot to discover from the talk between this person, and there will be, I think, questions from the readers, and we can discuss particular matters and have to kind of find a way through, because we have future ahead, and maybe there's a way that a Bogu manufacturing business can
Right.
and taken into the, I don't know, possibly a change or improvement in the direction that our needs can be heard for the first time.
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah, that's very true. There should be like different types of burger for different people. We
Possibly.
do have custom made, so it should be yeah, the female male difference should be taken into account.
Yeah.
Great. Differently, we have to learn as instructors as well.
And
Differently. Yeah, that's great, great, great insight. Well, thank you, Kazuyo Sensei. It's been quite a learning experience just for like, it's not less than 1 hour, I think. But I learned a lot, so I definitely have to register myself and gain knowledge from your magazine, I think.
I'll send you a copy.
ありがとうございます。Thank you. Oh, Sensei, this is going to be a wrap up time. So, do you have a last message to the viewers?
Oh, I don't know. Thank you very much, and I hope this pandemic situation will release soon, and everyone can go back to the dojo and back to the normal practice with physical contact,
Right.
hitting each other and making noise, a lot of noise, very soon. So good luck to everyone until then.
Thank you very much for your time today, Kazuo Sensei.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck for the first publication of Female Magazine.
Thank you very much. I need
Thank
it.
you. ありがとうございました。